Hi everyone, welcome back to Hack the Platform. In today's video, I'll show you how to use data flows with many-to-many relationships in Dataverse. We'll start from two simple SharePoint lists, move the data into Dataverse, and I'll explain a practical way to handle many-to-many relationships using a custom breach table instead of the automatically generated one. And at the end, I'll even show you how to use Power Automate to sync the hidden background relationship table if you ever need it. So let's get started. Here are my two SharePoint lists. The first one is characters. Each character has a name and a lookup column pointing to planets. Notice that this lookup allows multiple selection, which makes it a many-to-many relationship by nature. The second list is planets. This list is connected to the first one. So a single character can be connected to multiple planets and vice versa. In Dataverse, I've created a couple of tables. So first of all, characters table, and also I created a planet table, and also a third one. In Dataverse, lookup columns cannot store multiple values, only one value is allowed. So many-to-many relationships will be implemented via a third table. So this third table, in my case, planet character, acts as a bridge. I created it manually, and it contains two lookups columns. One is a character, which links to the character table, and the second one is a planet, which is linked to the planets table. This is how we can explicitly model many-to-many relationships in Dataverse. You may wonder, why not just let Dataverse handle it? When I create a many-to-many relationship directly between two tables, Dataverse automatically generates a hidden intermediate table. That's convenient, but there is the catch. You cannot select or map this table directly in data flows. That's why I prefer creating my own bridge table manually. It gives me full control and I can use it inside data flows and Power Automate. Of course, this approach has certain limitations. For example, querying across relationships can be trickier and performance can sometimes be impacted. I won't cover the full comparison here, but I've written a detailed breakdown in my blog post for this video. You'll find the link in the description. So before we set up the data flow, we need consistent identifiers for mapping. Remember, in part 3, we've already covered that. In a characters table, I'll create a key column called key character name. And in the planets table, I've created a key that's called key planet name. These keys will help us keep everything consistent when we bring the data into Dataverse. I have not used SharePoint IDs because all my names, character names, and all my planet names are unique. Otherwise, I'd recommend you to stick to the SharePoint ID and use that ID as a key here. Okay, so now let's set up the data flow. I'll create a new data flow and add both SharePoint lists, characters and planets. So I loaded everything in the Power Query. I will not expand the planets right now, so I want to map characters to characters table, planet to planet tables, and in addition to these two queries, I will also create a third one. This will be based on the characters list, but with the planet lookup column expanded. So that way, I'll have 3 queries in total: planets, characters, and also character planets query. So I will expand then the planets here I need the lookup values. The rest of the columns, in this case, I do not need. So basically, what do we have here? I have the characters, its title. I want to rename it to make sure that I know what I am mapping. And as you can see, one character, Luke Skywalker, is mapped to several planets. So the title column becomes character name, and then the lookup value column becomes planet name. Now each character planet combination is a separate row ready for the breach table. Now I can map the queries, planets to the planets table, characters to the characters table, and the expanded query to the breach table, planet or character planets. This ensures each row correctly stores a link between one character and one planet. I do not need SharePoint ID, but I will map it still. So now I need to map character name will be my character name column, planet name will be my planet name column, and the name column will remain empty. Please remember, in order to keep it empty and leave it empty, you need to remove that this column is required. So you need to go here, open the column, the name column, and make it a non-required column here. So make it optional. As you can see, everything's published, refreshed. Now let's check the results in Dataverse. Characters table. Characters and planets tables are populated. And the planet character table correctly holds the relationships. Each character now has the right planets assigned. Okay, so if for some reason you want to use the hidden table that Dataverse creates automatically, you can. With Power Automate, I will build a simple flow that reacts when a new item is added to the planet's characters or the character planet table, to that breach table, and automatically creates the corresponding link in the background many-to-many relationship table. Before I do that, I first need to create the many-to-many relationship between these two tables. I go to the relationship section, many-to-many, I select planet here. Let's this relationship name, call it I will call it like that. And as you can see, we have here relationship table name. This is exactly the table which will be created in the background and will store these many-to-many relationships. Now we can move on to the Power Automate. I will use a trigger, so when character planets table is populated, my breach table is populated, I want to create the automatic relationships in the background table. So when this table gets a new row, the flow will start and create the automatic relationships. That will be organization. I don't need anything else here. Now I need a Dataverse action. Okay, see more. I need a Dataverse action, which is called relate rows. Characters here, the row ID This will be character value. Now relationship type. Relationship type is character planets. And then the relate with should contain the URL. So it will use the OData ID from a previous tab. And we need the full URL here. So not the partial one, but the full URL here, which consists of the environment or organization URL, API/API/data/version. In my case, it will be 9.1 / table name. This will be planets, table name, and then the ID of that table. So certainly it's better to store maybe this URL in a specific variable, but just for you to demonstrate how quick it is, I will use the hard-coded URL. That property, play table name, contains the table I need. And that property contains the value I need. Okay, now I can save, publish. Before I refresh the data flow, I need to clean up the tables. And now I can refresh the data flow. The data flow was refreshed. We can check the results. Characters contain values. Planets contain values. Planet character contain values. Flows run successfully. Now we need only to check if our background table also contains values, if everything was synced correctly. We can do that by opening the following URL, and you can see that the entity set name, where everything is stored, is called characters planets set. So basically what is meant here, the many-to-many relationships has a relationship table name, characters planets, but it's not characters planets when we query it, but characters planets set. So if we query the characters planets set, we will see the following values. So we can see that the background table also contains the values. It contains characters ID, it contains planet ID, and that table and that relationships can be used in Dataverse, for example, in model-driven apps, when you build a model-driven apps, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's sum it up. We started with SharePoint lists, built manually many-to-many structure in Dataverse using a bridge table, created keys, prepared all Power Queries and Dataflows, sync everything, and finally we check the results in Dataverse in both bridge table and the background table. The approach gives you control, flexibility, and makes sure your data model works with data flows. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to check out more guides on my blog, Hack the Platform. If this was useful, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into the Power Platform. Okay, see you later.